I'm wondering about some of the other coping strategies. I know, Arabella, that this concept of resilience sort of fits somewhere into the concept of emotional intelligence. Is that sort of your bailiwick as well? I mean, how does that fit in?
Yes. So again, it comes down to, if you're not getting your needs met, then you psychologically won't be able to deal with other people in a healthy way. And I am often brought into conflict resolution situations or mediations where a boss will possibly be attacking or bullying their team. And once I sit aside with the boss and have a conversation with them and ask what's going on for them, I find out they're going through a divorce, they're trying to sell their house, they can't sell it because of COVID, their mother's, just a whole set of circumstances that's putting that person under pressure. So when you are put under pressure, or you yourself put yourself under pressure, then you're going to react badly. So I think what it's calling for now is, yes, more self-awareness. What is it that I need in order to feel good? And also stopping in that moment. It actually happened to me on the weekend. I had some friends who came up to visit, and I took them into a shop in Byron Bay, and the shop assistant, I think she thought we were shoplifting or something, but she was incredibly rude to us and ripped open the change rooms, and we were in there, and it was borderline abusive. And it was just interesting to see how we reacted to it. My first instinct was, am I safe? And I was like, yep, I'm safe. And then secondly was to have compassion, like, what's going on for this woman? And funnily enough, the next day I was in the doctor's surgery getting a vitamin B shot so I could feel nice and energetic. And there she was. And wow. She had it in her hands and she wasn't well at all. So I think we've got to put the judgment aside and have more compassion. It doesn't mean anyone can treat you badly. You still need to set boundaries and speak your truth, but understand that there's a whole lot going on for people. And this is even without a global pandemic happening. But that compassion element is really, really important. And that, in fact, helps you become more influential because people trust you more.
Interesting. Ian, one of the coping mechanisms, or one of the things that I think that builds resilience is having focus. And interestingly, one of the things I found was that to help you have focus is to have a secondary passion. Now, I don't know whether a wine is your secondary passion, and I don't mean wine. I mean, is that something you find?
It could be. Look, can I just actually make a comment? I'm one of those very social people, Arabella, and to our listeners that do need a lot of social interaction. My average week would generally be somewhere between 20 and 25 face-to-face meetings with often breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Married on the same day. So I personally found, whilst financially I'm okay, I've personally found that lack of social contact to be extremely challenging. And at times it's, I say it's been depressing, but it's sort of, you're not in control. I mean, I'm used to being in control of myself and my diary, of my, of our team and our direction. And most of those things have been taken away. So I feel like I'm sort of out in that limbo area a little bit. And that's affected my coping ability to some extent. So, but I agree with Nick that I think having other interests is very important. Mine has been for a long time now is activities involved in the disability sector, and I spend a lot of time in there, and I get a lot of satisfaction from that. But again, in a lockdown situation, there's very limited things that you can do in those spaces. So I think for outgoing, extroverted people, this is a really difficult time, and I'm probably at the top of that curve. And I can say quite openly and honestly to people that I've really struggled at times with that inability to meet my normal routine and do the things that generate results.
So what's your advice? What's your advice for Ian there, Arabella, on that?
Well, I think number one is accepting how am I feeling right now. And secondly, what is it that I need within the circumstances? How can I get that as much as possible? And part of looking at a crisis, if you look at crisis, stage one is making sure you're safe, making sure you've got your house, your food, your toilet paper, whatever you need, but also making sure that you've got an entourage which you can have contact with. And unfortunately, with the first lockdown, I didn't do that. So I was living alone with my dog, and my dog's great, but he's not quite a person, although I thought he was going to answer back. I spoke to him so much. But the point is that you you have to know what you need. And if that means making sure that you've got 5 friends that are okay to give you a hug or meet with you or interact with you. But even the people who are introverts and who prefer to spend more time reading and data and facts or analytics, they still need that social element. And I think that they're surprised that they're needing that more than they have before.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're sort of almost at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs there, and shelter and security. But you're also saying build an entourage as well, which is very interesting as well. I mean, look.